Ask you about Ukraine. We're talking with Ali Velshi. You've spent a fair amount of time in Ukraine and, reporting from there. I know you have contacts there and sources there. And Putin has threatened to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine. I mean, that was, I think the implicit threat was not that he was going to nuke New York City, but that he was talking about tactical battlefield nukes. And we're seeing now, as the Ukrainians are sweeping into some of these formerly Russian-held regions, that there are no civilians left. They've been, either killed or put on buses and sent into the hinterlands of Russia. Apparently, Russia's got hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians that they're essentially holding as hostages, and a lot of the children have already been sold into the Russian black market for children, whether it's adoption or whatever it may be. God, forbid. And so the Ukrainian soldiers are coming into these areas that have been basically sterilized, and the Russians have fled. And it seems to me like having a whole lot of soldiers and not a lot of civilians in an area that's basically just a wasteland to begin with is the perfect target for Vlad to throw a nuke at. Am I missing something here?
So the calculation, and nobody knows what's in Vladimir Putin's mind, but it's several-fold, right? First of all, is the nuclear weapon going to be tactical in a small way? And the smallest nuclear weapon they've got is about 0.3 of a kiloton or something, or big. Is it tactical, meaning you do what you just described, or is it demonstrative, right? Is it the idea that we will use them?
A terror attack, basically.
Correct. They also know that winds blow, so they don't want the winds blowing into Belarus. They don't want the winds blowing into Russia. And by the way, Joe Biden said the other day, you do anything with NATO and you're in big trouble, which he knows. Mm-hmm. So you don't even want the winds blowing into NATO countries, because that could be an attack. So he's got to figure out what kind of weapon, what's the purpose, and will it be a deterrent? Will it be guys, we're serious, we've got nuclear weapons? The problem with nuclear weapons, because one has not been used in this fashion in 77 years or something, is that once you use it, you lose your political value of threatening to use it all the time. So you got to think, is Vladimir Putin, is he done? Does he think he's done? Does he think he's lost this war and maybe his political power, and then maybe he doesn't care if the world goes up in a nuclear plume? Or is he still strategic enough to realize that even a little small tactical weapon into a generally sparsely populated place that may just have Ukrainian soldiers in it may be a bridge too far? And nobody knows what the answer is to this one. But the good news is that Russia's losing the war. The bad news right now, Tom, is that Russia's losing the war.
Right. The cornered rats are the most dangerous, and that's the era that we have reached. Ali Velshi, host of MSNBC's Velshi on weekend mornings and popping up on the network all over the place. I see you constantly. Ali Velshi on Twitter. Ali, thanks a lot for dropping by. It's always great talking.
Good talking to you again, Tom.
Back at you.